All right, pledges, quiet in the back. You are now entering a closed meeting of the Sugar-Free Sorority. Gloss on, claws out. Today's topic, betrayal, projection, and the silent war your friends are waging against your waistline. Let's begin. I want to do a little talk about something interesting that happened to me this week. So I've mentioned this friend before. She's on Ozempic, and she also has a feeder husband who she hides walking at work from. I believe I discussed her in the feeder episode. But I'm hanging out with her, and we were talking. I had an insane weekend last weekend, like a disgusting weekend. Partied a little too hard and got on the scale, and I was 5 pounds up. Now, obviously, I didn't gain 5 pounds over a weekend. I probably gained maybe 2.5 pounds. The rest is probably water weight, but that's not the point. The point is that I don't tolerate weight gain. I don't catastrophize it. I don't freak out about it. It is what it is. But for me, it's also unacceptable. So I immediately locked into a 2-day juice cleanse with the option of a third day, depending on what the scale was reading. So again, no big deal. You're going to go on vacation. You're going to have really fun weekends with bar food and bad behavior. But I don't believe in tolerating weight gain in the sense of, well, I'm going to slowly shave it off. No, I fast the weight off and then I get back home. Wherever your home is, you need to get immediately back home. And then you get back into your program. But I'm telling my friend that I gained 5 pounds over the weekend, and she literally, her eyes lit up. She was so joyful, and she started clapping. She was literally like hopping up and down in her seat clapping as if I had told her I had gotten a promotion, okay? As if I had told her that I had gotten engaged. And so I'm observing her celebrating me gaining weight, okay? Now, this particular friend has been very vocal about her dissatisfaction with my body. She has commented more times than I think is appropriate about how she thinks I'm too thin. And commenting on other people's bodies is always inappropriate. The BMI would not have a problem with my weight to height ratio, but the BMI chart would absolutely have a problem with yours. And I don't feel comfortable, nor do I think it's appropriate or respectful for me to comment on your weight. Would it be appropriate for me to tell you more than 5 or 6 times that I think you're fat, that I think you need to lose weight? How odd. Do you know what I mean? But the reason why I sort of allow and entertain people commenting negatively on my body is because I just transmute that energy. Like, I love a hater. Haters keep me skinny. But let me get back to the story. So she's clapping because I told her that I gained 5 pounds, like a straight hater. And then I tell her, like, oh, well, it's okay because I'm on a 2-day juice cleanse. And her face fell. The light went from her eyes. I'm telling you, all of this almost happened in some weird slow motion. Like, it was so fascinating to observe. But she instantly felt some kind of way about the fact that I had gotten the weight off. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, like, did you think that I had fallen off? Did you think that 5 pounds represented me being stuck? Represented me now going on some spiral where I gain an excessive amount of weight? Did you want me to be dissatisfied with my body because you're dissatisfied with yours? I'm not really certain why she was so upset that that 5 pounds came off in literally 2 days. 2 days, I was back to my weight. And so this video today is basically about how the people closest to you, okay? Yeah, the girls from high school, yeah, the girls from college, yeah, your coworkers, they're haters. But sometimes it's the people that are closest to you that are literally preying on your downfall, that are literally hoping, waiting, and praying that you gain the weight back. And it's really odd, especially because you never know at what point your weight loss is going to trigger them, right? Like, they might not be triggered by you losing 10 pounds or 20 pounds or 30 pounds. You know, maybe it takes you 100 pounds for your friends to be triggered, but it doesn't really matter at what point they get triggered. they get triggered. You would think that the people closest to you would be happy for you. But a lot of the times, women will see your body as a silent judgment. So you're just living your life, you're just drinking your green juice. But the fact that you exercise every day, the fact that you get your Tracy Anderson and the Stairmaster in, and the fact that you shave off weight immediately, you don't tolerate weight gain, you don't see weight as something that just happens to you. It's a reminder to them that their own personal weight and weight gain is not oppression, it's a choice, right? I could have easily decided like, oh, I gained 5 pounds from the weekend. I guess it is the way that it is. No, it's called fasting. Hello, lock in. I can imagine some people thinking to themselves like, how rude for her to mention that she had gained 5 pounds. How rude to mention that to her friend who's 200 plus pounds. First of all, this friend is on Ozempic. She's actively trying to lose weight. She's actively trying to diet and exercise, regardless of whether or not she's had some success on Ozempic, and she hasn't. She still wants to lose weight. And she feels comfortable talking about losing weight with me. She wants me to exercise with her, all of these things. I don't believe in imbalanced relationships just because you're insecure. Like, your insecurity is not my personal problem. Get a therapist, get a journal, okay? Get a dietitian, get some exercise equipment. If you can talk about your husband, your children, your job, your this, your that, I can't talk about what's going on in my life. You can talk about wanting to lose weight. I can't talk about wanting to lose weight. So I don't play those games. I don't believe in that. If my desire to maintain my weight and to shave weight off quickly makes you uncomfortable, you have agency. You get to decide what you want to weigh based on the choices that you make, based on the food that you put in your mouth. There are a lot of women, especially older women, who believe that weight gain is inevitable. They are addicted to the idea of inevitability when it comes to gaining weight. Like, oh, well, when you get older, your metabolism, it just slows down to such a creep that, like, of course you're going to gain 100 pounds. Of course, after children, you're going to gain a ridiculous amount of weight. And when you don't gain the weight, it shatters the illusion that they're helpless and that this weight gain happened to them. Like they were just a victim. And I really think that me just sort of being neutral about the fact that I gained 5 pounds, but then also ruthless about getting it off of me, was really sort of an example about how thinness is sustainable. Like it's easy. And I guess for maybe some people who aren't really good at fasting, fasting is absolutely a skill, but it's a skill that you develop over time. You have to fast in order to get good at fasting. But like juice fasting, fruit fasting, it's honestly quite enjoyable. And you can build up your stamina. Just do a 1-day juice fast, just do a 1-day fruit fast here and there, and you get used to it. But I just don't believe in entertaining weight gain. I don't believe in slowly getting the weight off. I just don't. I regard it as an enemy that must be eliminated immediately. And I really would just love to get into the psychology of like, what was she thinking? Did she think I had lost because I had gained 5 pounds? I just think it's so interesting, right? Because this is supposed to be somebody who like cares about me. And I know that she does. This is her own issue. That's why, like I said, I just observe people and then I let these sort of encounters fuel my workouts. When I want to completely polish off a bag of something, I think back on these moments like, no, because your close friends are secretly hoping that you gain weight, right? She obviously knows I'm not about to gain 100 pounds. She knows that I'm not that undisciplined. But the fact that I had gained 5 pounds brought her so much joy. And then the fact that I'm like, oh yeah, it'll be gone in 2 days. That's what really rocked her. The fact that I was self-correcting, the fact that I am so vigilant about my weight, because people love to act like when you're thin, it's luck. It's not luck, baby. It's not luck. Thinness is not passive. Thinness is not accidental as much as they'd like to believe that it is, because then it basically excuses their own behaviors. But I just want you all to be aware that when you lose the weight, there will be people actively praying that you gain it back. And then I read this interesting Reddit story I swear I have to do a separate video on this. But this girl lost weight and her mother asked her if she could put on some weight because it was making her sister feel uncomfortable because her sister was used to her being the fat sister and now she was the fat sister. And so if she could help her sister's mental health issues by gaining weight. There's some sick people out here, okay? So if for no other reason, keep the weight off. Like, they are laying in wait. They would publicly and privately celebrate you gaining the weight back. I can't believe that she was just clapping and bouncing in her chair right in my face. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, thank you, because this is the kind of motivation that keeps me slim, right? This is right here. You hoping that I gain weight is why I never will. Thanks, babe. Thank you. You don't need to prove anything. Just keep showing up smaller. Let them post passive-aggressive memes while you maintain what they swore you couldn't. If this hit, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. New videos drop every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. See you at the next meeting.